mother Crocker.
The Jello Program, starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston and Phil Harris and his orchestra.
Thank you. This is Groucho Marx. Well, here I am, stepping in over my head again.
With Fibber McGee and Molly.
Folks, this is just as new to me as it is to you.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Benny, this is Rochester.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Well, what an original greeting.
Hello and welcome to another week of comedy, funny, haha, on Dwayne Old Time Radio. One thing, please subscribe to my channel. If you enjoy what I'm doing, subscribing is 100% free. Also, one more thing, if you have a few seconds or 1 minute, please leave a review on your preferred podcast service, especially if you're on Apple, Spotify, or really just your preferred podcast service. Thank you and hope you enjoy. Vic and Sade is here with 3 episodes we're going to do this week. The first is Rotten Davis Telephones, April 25th, 1939. Then Sade's New Luggage, April 26th, 1939. And then The Davies Are Asleep Upstairs, May 11th, 1939. Oh, and I forgot, we have one more episode. 4 episodes. Woohoo! We're going to finish it with Grandpa Snyders' Christmas cards. Get it? It's the holiday season. June 1st, 1939.
Well, sir, it's early. There's a small house halfway up in the next block now. And here in the living room, we find Mr. and Mrs. Victor Gook and young Mr. Rush Gook abiding quietly at home. Vic is stretched full length on the Davenport, a section of the newspaper across his chest. Sade sits sewing in her husband's easy chair. Young Rush at the library table trades punches with his old enemy, algebra. Now this conversation. Listen.
Hey, you better get up from there.
Who speaks?
Come on, before you drop off to sleep.
I'm reading the paper.
Like fun you're reading the paper.
Why did people begrudge me a little comfort? When we got married, you touted my yellow curls and promised you'd be a sweet, loving wife. And now you lambast me with your sharp
This is
talk.
only 7:30. If you go to sleep on that Davenport, you'll ruin your night's rest and feel rotten in the bargain. You know how you do. You'll wake up all hot and stuffy and cross as a bear and complain.
Telephone is ringing.
I'll get my last $80 at Bluetooth Johnson. Good old Bluetooth Johnson doing his level best to get in touch with me. Dependable old Bluetooth Johnson.
Let your father answer that.
Huh?
John will see who it is. Hop up from there, mister.
May I politely inquire what new wrinkle this is?
There's more than one way to pry a fellow loose from a Davenport. Jump.
I'm pretty sure that's Bluetooth Johnson,
Will
man.
you, father? Find out.
I'm apparently the victim.
You better hurry. The party's liable to hang up.
Later on this evening, I want to pack my valise and buy a ticket for Seattle, Washington. I'm going to Seattle, Washington, and never come back.
Answer the phone before you leave.
Hello.
How about my undershirt? That's Bluetooth Johnson.
This is Vic speaking.
Go get on the Davenport so your father can't come back and lay down.
Who is this, please?
I want to find out if this is Bluetooth.
No, I don't recognize the voice. It's Vic Duck speaking. Yeah, who is this calling? And I don't care much for guessing names over the telephone, chum. Won't you either state your business or else... Huh? Oh, hi, Rotten.
Rotten Davis, by George.
Don't let him squirt call your father by his first name.
Why, I don't know for sure, Rotten. We just finished supper a while ago and haven't as yet formulated any plans for... What? See what Sadie has to say?
That little pipsqueak called me Sadie?
Probably.
Mr. Rotten Davis on the wire.
Did she say Sadie?
Yeah, she's interested in what we're doing this evening.
Wants to come over?
Yes, bring his girl.
Oh, for mercy's sake.
Where's he telephoning from, Gus?
The residence of his lady friend, Miss Ratburn, I believe. I think I heard.
He's broke again and got no place to escort her. It's plain as the nose on your face. Let him come ahead, Ma.
Now, listen, Rush. If you think we're going to start a regular habit of entertaining...
Hey, what did I tell my friend Rotten here? He's doubtless getting impatient.
Tell him to call back in a few minutes.
Rush, we're not...
Well, that won't hurt nothing. Go ahead, Gus. Ask him to call back in a minute or two. Say you have to talk things over with Sadie.
Well, my little boy, 14 years old, calling me Sadie.
How about it, kiddo? I don't want to keep the poor dink waiting here.
All right, tell him to call back.
Rotten? Say, Rotten, wife and myself haven't as yet programmed our evening. Suppose you call again. Oh, just a couple of minutes. Okay, Rotten. Bye.
So it's going to be a regular Tuesday evening custom, huh? Rotten asks his girl for a date on Sunday, runs out of money on Tuesday, and then has to
Please,
call
Paul, just
here.
one more time, Mom. You and Gus ain't doing anything. You're just sitting here. Besides, it wasn't so bad last Tuesday, was it?
Kind of halfway fun watching that little 19-year-old kid act like the king of Peoria. For a while there, I thought I was listening to a college president talk. I am of the opinion, Miss Gook, that the United States Congress, dumpty-da, could pass a law, dumpty-dumpty, provide dumpty-doodle. I laughed half a dozen times the next day just thinking about the airs he put on.
There you are, see? You enjoyed yourself. Okay, enjoy yourself again tonight. Why, I'll bet $50
The
you
thing
can...
is, I don't want your friend Rotten to think he can make a habit of coming around here just because he hasn't got the spondulics to take his girl to the show. Why, lands, once that got started...
Well, it won't get started. This will be the last time. I'll tell Rotten tomorrow. What you say?
I'm in favor of an...
Yes, it's all Gus. See, Mom, Gus is willing.
Telephone's ringing.
It's Rotten. How about it?
How long will they stay?
9 o'clock. Same as last Tuesday.
How do you know?
I'll fix it.
Somebody better answer that.
I will, Gus.
Okay, tell Rotten I'm feeling fine, and his pal Sadie can't wait to shake his hand.
Well? Oh, yes, Rotten. Say, my father told me to tell you to come right on over. Yeah. You bet. By the way, Rotten, my parents are both looking kind of tired. It might be injurious to their health if they stayed up too late. Now, don't put the wrong interpretation on my remark, but if you and your lady friend could arrange it to... What? Yeah. That'd be just fine. You'll take your departure at 9 o'clock or as shortly thereafter as conveniently possible. I think we understand each other, Rotten. Yes. My parents will be expecting you then, Rotten. Okay. Goodbye, Rotten. They'll be here in a very few minutes. The reason I'm so interested in helping Rotten out is because, just like I say, I'm indebted to him for a good many kind favors. And letting him bring his lady friend here is really returning a favor. Why, just think of the position he's in. He's asked a young lady for the ecstasy of her company tonight and hasn't got the money to escort her to the Baijiu or any place else. Probably couldn't even set her up to an ice cream cone. And we've saved his life. We've provided him a place to escort his lady friend.
Well, we're not going to provide a place for him to escort his lady friend every Tuesday.
No, indeed. I'll tip him off tomorrow.
What do you say?
I'll say, well, something diplomatic. Well, he'll understand.
Yeah, I hope so.
There's lots of individuals around town make fun of Rotten with his spats and his overcoat that reaches down to his ankles and the chicken feathers sticking in his hat that looks sporty, but he's got a pretty smart head on his shoulders, and don't you forget it.
Oh.
And as far as that goes, I bet you people do enjoy yourselves this evening. You haven't seen Rotten stick with the lighted cigar yet, where he lets on like he's swallowing it, and by George, he takes it out of his ear?
Ought to be a treat.
It is a treat. Your tongue will hang out in amazement. Get him to do it, Gus.
All right.
And another thing, if you tease him long enough, he'll do his stunt where he takes a common, ordinary broom.
Telephone is ringing.
I'll answer it.
Do that, my boy.
Probably old Bluetooth Johnson attempting to get in touch with me. Hello? Oh, hello, Miss Bottom. Just fine, thanks. Yes, she is. 1 second. Mom, if they want to play 500, don't forget about Rotten.
Oh, the same thing happened last Tuesday. Rotten, this girl come over and Fred Ruthie telephoned about 500.
History repeats itself.
We can do the same thing we done last week, can't we? Start our game after the kids go home at 9 o'clock. Hello there, lady. What's the idea of bothering us while we're eating our supper? I'll say. No, not a thing in the world. Just sitting here with our teeth in our mouth. Oh, he does, huh? So that old Mr. Fred Stenbottom wants to play 500, huh? Well, look here, Ruthie. We want to play, too. Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, here's what I was going to say. Remember them two young people you met here last week? Them friends of Russ's? Uh-huh. Well, they're stopping by again this evening, but they're going again at 9 o'clock. Yeah, well, can't we do just like we done? Sure. Yeah. All right, lady. All right, that'll be fine. Come along whenever you feel like it. You bet. All right, Ruthie. Goodbye. Sure is history repeating itself.
Dove, I wonder if you'd slip on your shoes.
Be choice.
For external appearance's sake, to appreciate the angle I'm attempting to put across.
History repeating itself again. Last Tuesday, you and your father had that little conversation about him slipping on his shoes for external appearance's sake.
Yeah, well, we learned an old saying at school of a...
Doorbell is ringing.
Right, and his lady friend. I'll go.
Tell Rotten his old chums, Vic and Sade, are expiring to see his face.
Be sure to ask him to do that cigar trick.
Oh, uh-huh. What was it Rush told us to say last Tuesday?
Well, Rotten, you're looking simply great.
Uh-huh. And, by George, Miss Radburn, you got a bloom on your cheek like a 16-year-old.
I see well, Congress is doing this, that, and other things.
Oh, and did you happen to read in the newspaper where it stated something or other?
By George, Rotten, I'm nothing but an old fuss button.
Father and Mother.
Father and Mother.
Yes! Mr. Davis and his friend Miss Radburn have come to call.
Well, tell him to come right on in.
Well, sir, it's late afternoon as we approach the small house halfway up in the next block now. And here, mounting the back porch steps, we find Mr. Victor Gook and his son, Mr. Rush Gook. The gentlemen are just this moment returned home from activities at the kitchenware plant and Tapman's vacant lot. Their conversation is brisk and cheerful. Listen.
It come about as close to being a fight as anything I ever seen in my life. Leroy Snow referred to Milton Welch as a half-wit. Milton referred to Leroy as a cheapskate. Leroy doubled up his fist. Milton Welch removed his hat and overcoat.
In that case, I suggest you open the door.
Mom's been away someplace and come home again.
How do you deduce that, Inspector Glunk?
Here's her rubbers with the sole still wet.
In that case, I suggest you open the door.
Yeah, it sure looked like it was going to be a battle. Milton Welch removed his hat and overcoat. Leroy Snow removed his hat and overcoat. Leroy says, "Here, Rooster, kindly hold my wraps while I teach this bounder a lesson." Milton says, "Here, Bluetooth, take care of my outer clothing while I give this scoundrel a thrashing he won't soon forget."
In that case, I suggest you close the door.
But then they both begin to stall.
Hi, Guy, ho,
You
do.
all by yourself?
No, I got a fella with me. Rush Gook or some name like that.
I'm upstairs. Be right down.
Precede me to the living room, Stone Bruise. We look over the pile of important letters, telegrams, and transoceanic cables that arrived during our absence.
Before they got through, they had almost all their clothes off.
I don't follow your train of thought.
They're still talking about Leroy Snow and Milton Welch.
Oh.
Neither one of them actually wanted to fight, see? They were both stalling for time. Leroy removed his hat and overcoat. Milton removed his hat and overcoat. Leroy removed his necktie. Milton removed his necktie. Leroy removed his shirt. Milton removed his shirt. Leroy removed his shoes. Milton removed his shoes. Leroy
removed... take place over in Tapman's vacant lot?
Yeah.
Must have been a trifle chilly for the belligerent.
It was. They both started to shiver.
Hey, what did we hear?
Where?
Sitting in front of the Davenport. Perhaps we have a guest. A traveling bag.
What's on the floor?
Whose suitcase?
Mine.
Mom says it's hers.
Purchased, I imagine, in anticipation of a trip to Carberry next month.
She's been talking about a new suitcase. Said our old one's so scuffed and shabby.
Ain't it a beauty?
Woman, if you've been spending my hard-earned money on foolish vanities, by
Don't
George...
interfere with it, fellas. It's brand new, and the lovely leather is easy to scratch.
If Mom had a new football, she'd be afraid to get scratched. That's ladies for you.
How you like that for handsome?
Very nice indeed.
You couldn't guess in 30,000 squillion years where it come from.
Moore's Luggage Shop.
No.
Here's a label that says Moore's
Oh,
Luggage.
it may have come from there. I guess it did come from there.
Well, I said Moore's Luggage Shop, and you said no.
It's a gift
Huh?
from Mr. and Miss Donahue.
What?
A going-away gift. Sweetest thing that ever was. She brought it over about an hour ago, and I haven't been able to get my breath since.
The idea, I suppose,
Examine it once. It's expensive. If it didn't cost $18, $19, $20, I'm not 3 feet high.
I've been noticing...
Here, let me show you.
Did old man Donahue actually break down? and
These
say that?
latches, where you clasp it together, is absolutely the latest thing. I'll demonstrate how they work.
I know how they work. There's nothing new about those.
Certainly a lot newer than the ones on that big old squashed-in suitcase of ours I've been taking on trains ever since I married to where the conductor tittered.
I doubt if the conductor's titties ever occasionally...
See how they work?
I understand how they work.
This little business comes in around through here, and then you pull down on this thingamadoodle. Your traveling bag is closed to where it can't come open. And there's even a lock and key goes with it. The key's inside on a string.
Did Mr.
Notice the color?
I noticed.
It's a very, very, very latest tan.
Uh-huh.
All the stylish travelers in Peoria and Decatur got valises with this shade of tan.
Probably.
No joking, I haven't been able to get my breath this last hour. It was such an enormous big surprise, see?
I'd like to investigate inside the
Tell
suitcase.
you what you can do, Rush. Out on top of the buffet, there's a letter from Aunt Bess. Go get it. The letter from Bess comes this afternoon.
Did she...
All about how excited they are, me coming and all. Do you realize I leave for Carberry in less than 2 weeks?
The time is, George.
Hurry up and do like I say, Rush. It's on top of the buffet. Yes, sir. Less than 2 weeks. I can't hardly realize it.
Well, what puzzles me is this sudden surge of generosity on the part of Pa and Ma Donahue.
The traveling bags are going away gift.
Yeah, but you're only going to be gone 8 or 9 days.
What do you mean?
If I strolled over to East Oakland Avenue to buy a cigar, I wouldn't expect my friends to shower me with presents to console me during my long journey.
You got it all twisted around.
Have I?
It's them that's going away. The Donahues. They're moving the first of the month. This traveling bag is a token of love and appreciation for me being a neighbor they've been fond of all these years.
Oh, so that's the way of it.
That's the way of it. And did you ever hear of anything sweeter in your life?
Ma Donahue's always had a heart like a tub of jelly. I know. I always liked those.
$18, $19, $20 this must have cost, at least. And you appreciate how they are with their pennies. Why, both of them squeeze their nickels till the eagle squawks. I know as sure as I'm standing here. What do you want?
Here's Aunt Bess's letter off in the buffet.
Well,
You
take
said
it out of the envelope. Yes, sir, $18, $19, $20.
This is the case of the cart before the horse.
What?
Well, generally, it's the people that go away that receive the going-away gifts. Here, Donahues are the ones that's going away, and they're giving the going-away gift.
I know it. I know it.
Want me to read this out loud?
Yeah. All about how excited they are me coming to Carberry.
Dear sister-in-law, thought I
You
would...
realize, don't you, I'm leaving in less than 2 weeks?
I hadn't stopped to think about it before. That's right, though. Let's see, what's the date? Today's Wednesday.
Really only about 10 days. I counted up on the calendar this morning.
Dear sister-in-law, thought I
The
would...
best is in the stew. Oh, me coming and all. I bet she's already got 9 cakes baked. When that girl gets ready to entertain company, she almost kills herself. Well, listen to what she says. Read, Rush.
Dear sister-in-law, thought I would write and see how you are feeling. We are fine, and Walter's kneecap has let up considerable on the twinges. How is Victor?
She's got a lot to say about you further on.
That's so?
Little jokes about when you come to Carberry, mate. I bet Victor takes the pretty girls to the ice cream parlor and treats them to ice cream sodas.
Dear sister-in-law...
Oh, and you better have Victor arrested and put in jail while you're gone, mate. Husbands with their wives out of town are liable to take in the moving picture show every single evening. Oh, she's a corker, that Beth. Yeah, I bet I don't sleep 9 minutes all the time I'm in Carberry. I bet we lay in bed and talk all night long. Read, Rush.
Dear sister-in-law...
Don't
thought...
go over the same thing again and again.
You don't give me a chance?
Skip down.
Skip down.
How is Victor?
Huh?
How is Victor?
How is Victor?
Skip down to how is Victor.
Oh, for a minute
Yes,
there.
sir, I'll bet that girl's a wreck. The prospect of entertaining company simply makes a bundle of nerves out of her.
How is Victor?
She's always been that way, Bess. Always.
How is
Why,
Victor?
when they had that preacher's convention in Carberry and Bess boarded 3 of them for a week, she got herself into such a state, Walter had to send for the doctor.
How is Victor?
Huh?
How is Victor?
Fresh what? Oh. Thought for a minute you'd gone off your rocker. Read.
How is Victor? I suppose he's working hard in his office as usual. He will certainly miss you when you come to visit us. Say, mate, can't he and Rush
They
run
want
up...
you and Willie to run up the day before I leave for home. Of a Saturday, see. You could hop on the train Saturday morning, get to Carberry in the early evening, and have all night and a good part of Sunday to see the folks.
Oh, I thought we'd already decided on that.
Yeah, we had.
How is Victor?
Oh, but this traveling bag, though. Won't I cut a dash on the Illinois Central? Darn old conductor won't titter at my miserable little old crushed-in valise this trip.
How is Victor?
Did you ever hear of anything so sweet as Miss Donahoe? Economical and careful with their pennies as they are, they spent $18, $19, $20 to buy me an expensive present to show how much they like me and what a dandy neighbor they think I've been all these years. Ain't that sweet? Ain't that sweet? Know what happened when she walked in here and handed me the traveling bag and explained what it was for?
No.
We cried. Both of us. Actually, Vic, I just...
Somebody in the kitchen. Somebody in the kitchen.
Oh, that's my grocery boy. I want to see him. He's got a ballin' out coming. I'll be back in a second. Don't either one of you go away. I got a lot more things to tell you.
Okay.
And don't interfere with that traveling bag. A lovely leather's liable to get scratched.
Well,
Mom's going to Carberry.
yeah, Mom's going to Carberry.
By Virginia Avenue standards, it's quite late at night as our scene opens now, almost 11:45 o'clock. And here in the living room of the small house halfway up in the next block, we find Mr. Victor Gook and Mr. Rush Gook. Rush, clad in pajamas and bathrobe, occupies his father's easy chair. He seems uneasy. Vic, who has just this moment arrived home from a meeting of the sacred stars of the Milky Way, removes his hat and contemplates his son with disapproval. He's saying,
Know what time it is?
Getting on for 12.
Or more romantically, midnight. Tomorrow's a school day, ain't it, my friend?
Yeah.
One takes advantage of one's mother's absence.
How you mean?
Mom don't allow you to sit up and read this late.
This Third Lieutenant Stanley book is interesting as heck. Couldn't force myself to lay it down. And besides that, another fact...
Well, since we're bachelors and our domestic routine is out of adjustment, I'll overlook the matter this time. Did you put the milk bottle out?
Yeah.
Front door locked?
Yeah.
I took care of the back. Suppose we hit the hay.
All right.
I was sleepy as a horse.
Lodge meeting lasted later than usual tonight, didn't it?
Uh-huh. Didn't break up till 10:30. Then a half a dozen of us dropped in at the Greeks and ate scrambled eggs and talked over the European situation. I bet I fall into a deep stupor the moment my head touches the pillow. Your pals show up to study algebra?
Yeah, they did.
Accomplish anything?
Quite a bit. We asked each other review questions.
Asked each other review questions the first 10 minutes and then devoted the remainder of the evening to jolly games and pastimes, huh?
No, we stuck pretty close to algebra all the time.
Who all was here?
Nicer Scott, Bluetooth Johnson, Milton Welch, Smelly Clark, and Rooster Davis.
A remarkable group of great gentlemen and brilliant scholars. They didn't break any furniture, did they?
Bluetooth Johnson fell off in a kitchen chair, but no damage was done.
We're fortunate. Golly, I'm tired. Jump up from there, Oscar. We only got about 7 hours to sleep.
Okay. By the way, Rooster Davis whipped out a compliment for you.
I'm much obliged to Rooster. What'd he say?
Well, sir, it's a long, long story. He started out by passing...
I'm afraid I won't have time to listen to long, long stories right at the moment, Coal Oil. Perhaps tomorrow...
Just one second, Gov.
Beg pardon?
Wait a minute.
You wish to chat?
Rooster Davis is here.
Once again, I beg pardon?
Rooster Davis is upstairs in bed.
You're going to think I'm an old Paul Pry, always thrusting my nose in other people's business, but may I
stuck my neck out, Gov, but I didn't think you'd care.
Suppose you...
They got an automobile load of company over at Davis's house. A bunch of relatives from Grand Rapids, Michigan dropped in on him unexpected. Rooster was faced with the prospect of spending the night on a couch in the attic. I said, Rooster, by George, why don't you stay here?
You're a kind man, Rush.
I figured it'd be okay with you.
If Mom were here, would she say okay?
Yes, I'm pretty sure she would.
Where does Rooster slumber?
In the big bedroom.
Yeah?
After all, he's a guest. I couldn't put him down cellar or on the roof, could I?
You understand, of course, you're not going to deceive your mother any. All she has to do is glance in the big bedroom and know it's been occupied.
Oh, like I said before, Gov, I'm pretty sure Rooster's sleeping here'd be okay with Mom. I put my friends up before. Why, just last month, Mr. Scott spent the night here. You remember. Let's see, was
it... Okay, I'm not kicking. Only I advise you to take pains with that bedroom tomorrow and see that Rooster leaves it as neat and orderly as he found it. Well, night-night, I must away. When you and Rooster see Rooster in the morning, tell him the towel with the blue border is the private property of your father and must not be disturbed.
All right, I'll tip him off.
Your brow is still furrowed with anxiety, slaveholder. Haven't I acted reasonably?
Gov, there's something else.
Save it till tomorrow.
No, wait.
Great guns, man. It's almost midnight. I love to exchange sparkling parlor crosstalk as much as the next sport.
There's another individual upstairs.
What?
Rotten Davis is here.
Rush, dear chum, you may have your old man pegged for a nitwit.
Listen to me a second, Gov, and don't scream bloody murder.
If your mother were here, there'd be so much screaming of bloody murder.
Let me tell you exactly what happened.
All right. And after that, you and me will have a heart-to-heart.
When the guys started to go home when we got through studying algebra, Rooster explained about this automobile load of relatives that dropped in at his house from Grand Rapids, Michigan. He said he was faced with the prospect of spending the night on a couch in the attic.
We've already been over that ground. You said, Rooster, by George, why don't you sleep here?
Yeah.
All right. Suppose we get on to Rotten. By the way, where does Rotten slumber?
With Rooster.
Pleasant dreams to both of them. You may also inform Rotten the towel in the bathroom with the blue border belongs to me.
I will. Gov, I didn't think you'd care. I figured
Whether I care or not, I'm not going to let it keep me out of the hay any longer. I'll brood over the matter tomorrow. Once again, night-night.
I want to tell you exactly what happened, Gov, so you won't be sore.
My soreness...
I said to Rooster, Rooster, why don't you stay here?
And he said, fine. Wait a second while I fetch my brother Rat.
No, he didn't. He says, that's mighty white of you, Rush. I says, not at all. I'm sure my father won't have any objection. He says, well, I've got to telephone home and get permission from my folks. I says, go ahead.
So we telephoned home, and his folks wanted to know if you had room for Rat.
Exactly. You hit the nail right square on the head.
How many relatives was in that crowd from Grand Rapids?
Oh, gosh. Uncle Funny, Aunt Grace, Cousin Harry, Uncle Frank, Aunt Wee, Cousin Flub. Oh, gosh, a big gang.
Well, so be it. As far as I'm concerned, Rooster and Rotten can sleep upstairs and welcome. The responsibility, however, in case your mother raises a kick, is entirely on your shoulders.
That's understood.
Fine. Well, a tender good night to you and your friends. I'm getting a little too old for this night owl business. I'm going to pull the covers up around my
Just
head.
one more second, Gov.
I'm afraid
Rooster
that
telephoned home, and it was just like you guessed. He talked to his mother and told her I'd invited him to sleep at my house, and she wanted to know if there was room for Rotten. Well, what could I say? I had to say yes. Also, I figured as long as the big bedroom was going to be slept in anyway, what'd be the difference if two guys slept in it or if one guy
I've absolved you from guilt, stove polish. Let Rooster and Rotten sleep their heads off. Suppose we cut short this fascinating colloquy now.
Wait a minute.
Huh?
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Rush, is there still a third party upstairs? Rush, is there still a third party upstairs?
Yeah.
Who?
Roper.
Roper?
Roper.
Roper who?
Roper Davis.
And Roper Davis?
Rooster and Rotten's cousin. Now listen, Gov, I appreciate you're going to swallow your shoes and scream like a panther. I don't blame you. The situation got out of my hands. If Mom had been around or you'd been around, it wouldn't have happened.
The midnight bells will chime in a few minutes, and here I stand in my brilliantly lighted ribbon room.
After Rooster telephoned home, we sat around waiting for Rotten to show up. Pretty soon Rotten showed up, and he had Roper with him. Miss Davis figured if we had room for 2 guys, we'd have room for 3. My hands were tied. I couldn't kick Roper out in the street. Could I?
Could you what?
Kick Roper out in the street?
Rush,
Yeah.
are there any others upstairs asleep?
No.
You're sure?
Yeah.
There's 3 of them, and that's the sum total?
Yes.
Rooster Davis, Rotten Davis, and Roper Davis comprise our complete roster, I guess?
Right. You understand how it was now, don't you, Gov? I couldn't help it. Doggone
Where
it.
does Roper slumber?
Beg pardon?
Where does Roper slumber?
He slumbers.
Yes. Roper slumbers where, Rush?
Gov, my bed is a single bed. There's not room for 2 individuals in it. You appreciate that yourself.
Roper slumbers in my bed?
Yours is a double bed.
I am to understand, then, that an utter stranger is sprawling
He's a
out.
swell fella, Gov.
Roper's a swell fella?
He used to play third base with the East Lansing, Michigan Skunks, a professional baseball team that won the championship.
Tired as I am, I must share my bed with an utter stranger. Tired as
You
I
go in my room, Gov. I'll crawl in with Roper. Do that. My bed's a little short for you, but you'll sleep fine. By George,
Your mother prophesied we'd get ourselves tied in knots if we had to get along by ourselves a week. Well, apparently she was right.
Yeah, takes Mom to keep the wheels on the track. Wouldn't be anything like this happen if she was on deck.
Well, sir, it's late afternoon as our scene opens now. And here, walking along the alley toward the small house halfway up in the next block, we find Mr. Victor Gook and his son, Mr. Rush Gook. The gentlemen are returning home from Tatman's vacant lot, where the latter apparently enjoyed a brilliant career at third base. For he's saying,
I had 3 putouts in a row to my credit in the 4th inning, and 3 in a row in the 5th. Talk about your red-hot corner. Third base was sure the red-hot corner this afternoon. I must have handled 20 separate and distinct grounders.
You were wonderful, all right.
Well, you saw me.
Yes, I did. And I couldn't help muttering to myself, he's wonderful. That man is wonderful.
Did you happen to be looking when I scooped up Bluetooth Johnson's wallop?
I don't...
It took a crazy bounce. Hit a rock or something. Anyway, it acted like it was going to go foul. But I was on my toes. I wasn't taking any chances. I stuck out my gloved hand and threw my body
Somebody's
sideways.
sitting on our back porch.
Mom, stuck out my gloved hand, see, and threw my body sideways. I might have broke my neck, but I stopped that ball. Rooster Davis paid me quite a compliment. He sauntered over from his shortstop position and patted me on the back. That's feeling the old apple fella, he says. Rooster Davis very seldom hands out compliments. I was flattered. Why, the last time...
Hi-ho-to-ho.
Hi, Mom. Why, the last time that guy ever handed anybody a compliment was way back in 1935. It just so
What's your
happened...
mother got in her lap?
I don't know. Way back in 1935. It just so happened...
What you got in your lap, Corporal Stanwood?
Come here and see.
Way back in 1935. The last time Rooster Davis handed anybody a compliment was way back in 1935. It just so happened...
Grandpa Snyder when you were coming along the alley?
No.
Must have turned off on Kelsey.
He did. I noticed his wheelchair way up the block.
Grandpa paid me quite a visit. Only just left about 10 minutes ago.
I see you've also been at home to Ms. Harris.
Why?
Ain't that her Christmas card sample book there in your lap? No?
This is Grandpa Snyder's Christmas card sample book.
Don't tell me he's in the business.
He's in the business, and he's worse than all the rest of the people trying to sell me Christmas cards combined. He gets mad and shouts when you try to get out of buying.
Well, this is the same identical Christmas card sample book as Miss Harris has got.
Sure. Miss Harris and Grandpa Snyder are both representatives for the same company.
The Toledo concern?
Yeah. The outfit that gives you a free parking space for your automobile and your initials in your hat if you buy enough merchandise.
Mind if I look, Ma?
No, sit down. Help yourself.
Grandpa makes one more trying to line you up for Christmas cards.
Yes.
How many are there altogether?
I'd hate to count 'em.
They're certainly all enterprising salesmen. The summer ain't even set in yet. One generally associates Christmas cards with icy blasts and snow.
Here's a familiar one.
Huh?
Give me a kiss and make me feel fine. This is Christmas 1939.
Uh-huh.
Miss Harris has got it for sale.
Miss Harris has got all these for sale. Like I say, her and Grandpa represent the same company.
Wash off that dirty neck of yours and wipe away that sneer. I'm wishing you and your family a prosperous new year.
Move over, George. I want to look, too.
You've seen 'em all, Vic. They're exactly like the ones in Miss Harris's sample book.
Well, didn't you tell Grandpa you had dealings with a party connected with the same Christmas card company he works for? And that
You try to tell him something he don't want to hear sometime.
How you mean?
He pretends to be deafer than he is.
Yeah?
Soon as he wheeled his wheelchair here by the porch and produced his sample book, I said, "Oh, lands, Grandpa. Miss Harris across the alley sells them kind of Christmas cards." He put that black tin horn up to his ear. "What?" he says. "What?" I repeated my remark several times, but all he said was what.
Say, that's not a bad idea.
No, good idea. If I ever try to sell something, I'm going to pretend I can't hear. The person you're trying to do business with won't bring up any objections if you can't hear his objections.
Very true.
Give me a kiss, old girl of mine. This is Christmas 1939.
Give me a kiss while it's snowing and sleeting, and accept this heartfelt holiday greeting.
Darn Christmas card company runs that give me a kiss business in the ground. The verses on half the cards in there start off that way.
Give me a kiss full of Christmas-time joys. Santa Claus is coming with candy and toys.
Give me a kiss to remember, my dear. And don't forget, December 25th is full of holiday cheer.
Now, who could a person send cards like that to except their sweetheart or somebody? A family like us certainly wouldn't order 2 or 3 dozen of them and mail them to friends and acquaintances. Like Mr. Buller and Y.Y. Flirch and them.
Here's one for Mr. Buller. Give me a kiss and then go away. I'm listening for Christmas bells on Santa Claus' sleigh. Here's one for Y.Y. Flirch. Give me a kiss before I get mad. A prosperous New Year.
Stop.
What?
Quit reading them silly things.
Okay.
Well, how come Grandpa left his sample book saved? Why didn't you make him take it away with him?
I tried. It was hard enough. But he made out like he couldn't hear what I was saying.
Same stunt, huh?
Sure. Lance, I was almost screaming. I says, "Grandpa, there's absolutely no sense in you leaving your sample book here. We can't possibly give you an order." All he done was hold that trumpet up to his ear and say, "What?"
Well, could he hear your other remarks?
Oh, sure. I said, "Grandpa, how's everyone at home?" He said, "Just fine." I says, "The girls both feeling well?" He says, "Mabel's had a little cold, but she's about over it." I says, "Are you warm enough out here?" He says, "Very comfortable, thanks. I got a vest and 2 wool sweaters underneath my coat." I says, "I'm afraid I can't buy any Christmas cards off you." He says, "What?" "I'm afraid I can't buy any of your Christmas cards, Grandpa," I says. "What?" he says. "What?"
Can't you, old rooster?
You bet. He hears just what he wants to hear and nothing else.
Here's a page of samples that haven't got that give me a kiss feature. Give me a hug. Sure. Give me a hug, old girl of mine. This is Christmas 1939.
Oh, my.
Give me a hug while it's snowing and sleeting, and accept this heartfelt holiday greeting.
The same verses, only it's changed to hug, huh?
Yeah. Give me a hug before I get mad. A prosperous New Year.
It's difficult to work up the true Christmas spirit during this summer weather. I need icicles.
Here's a verse I haven't seen before. Give me a hug for Christmas time's sake. If I don't receive presents, I'll jump in the lake.
You made that up.
Oh, look for yourself. Right here, all lettered in tinsel. Give me a hug for Christmas time's sake. If I don't receive...
out and out crazy.
Yeah.
The worst thing about Grandpa being here with his sample book was Miss Harris saw him. She stepped out on her back porch to water her plants and glanced over this way.
Well, she probably didn't suspect Grandpa was a competitor of hers in the Christmas card.
Oh, yes, she did. She spotted the sample book.
How you know?
I could tell.
Oh, it's a long distance from her porch, Greta.
Listen now, while I tell you what she done. She put down her sprinkler and turned this way and stared, with her hands on her hips.
Well, that don't prove anything.
Sure it does. Well, I wouldn't be surprised but what our voices carried over to her house. Mine could have easy enough. I was shouting. I'm afraid I can't buy any Christmas cards from you, Grandpa, I hollered. Why, I'll bet my necktie she heard me. Sure.
Give me a hug, you saucy minx. Old Santa
I
Claus.
just couldn't do anything with Grandpa. Almost got myself hoarse trying to explain. Grandpa, I says, I can't give you an order. My next-door neighbor, Miss Scott, sells Christmas cards. Miss Harris across the alley sells Christmas cards. My sister in Carberry, Illinois, sells Christmas cards for the church treasury. Even my little boy sells Christmas cards. The children make 'em up at high school there. I might just as well have been talking to the garbage box. He sat in his wheelchair with his darn old trumpet to his ear and said what?
Very brainy old geezer.
I'll say.
Give me a hug or I'll kick your father. Holiday chimes.
Heard
ring
everything
on.
else I said. I says, Grandpa, we don't see much of you around Virginia Avenue these days. He says, I've been spending most of my time over on Clinton Boulevard. They're tearing up the street. I says, I read in the newspaper where it stated Beulah took a trip to Detroit, Michigan. He says, yes, visited a girl she went to business college with and her husband. But when I said, Grandpa, Miss Harris across the alley has got these same kind of Christmas cards for sale, it was a different story. What? He says, what? So now I've got this sample book to worry about.
And a brand new Christmas card salesman breathing his hot breath down your neck.
Yeah.
Back to kisses again here.
It's so?
Give me a kiss or I'll telephone the police. May the blessings of Christmas never cease.
Which concludes another brief interlude at the small house halfway up in the next block.
Thank you for listening to and showing your support for my podcast. If you would like to receive notifications of when new episodes are posted, please subscribe to my channel. Subscriptions are 100% free, and they really help me get an idea of how I'm doing. Well, hope you enjoyed, and until next time, stay safe, wish you well, and as always, peace.